I think that you should hold off. This is hindsight speaking. You should hold off from putting live money as long as you can.
This is the A1 Trading Podcast with Trader Nick. I'm your host, Will, and on this show, we talk everything trading, investing, and entrepreneurship. Please remember that trading involves a substantial risk of loss. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
Episode number 2 of A1 Trading Podcast. Yep, super excited to be here. Will, how's it going, man?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm good, man. We're here in the office.
Good.
It's a good day.
It is a great day.
I've got a story for today. I'm super excited for it.
Okay.
Because you've already heard some of this, but I think you'll enjoy this as much as some of the audience because I'm going to tell the story of the Barber, who was a part of our group.
Yeah.
A part of our VIP group, and has at this point gone from a new trader to a full-time trader. And this has been a story that's been requested by a lot of our viewers on the YouTube channel. We've had people say it on Instagram. People are saying, I mentioned it in a vlog. We talked about the story, right? But people have asked, can you tell it a little bit more detailed? What was that all about? And so maybe today we could just talk a little bit about the story of the Barber. You can ask questions along the way, and we'll get into it.
All right, that sounds good. Let's do it.
So the Barber, I'm gonna keep calling him the Barber because I didn't get his okay to say his name or anything, so I'm not gonna do that. But I think the Barber is fine. He was a member with us a long time ago. Like at this point, not a long time ago, but maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Right? Maybe a year and a half ago. Even when you were first starting, that's when I was talking to this person. And so this person went to me, and a lot of people do this, but this person has a really, really cool story because this person is working at a salon, working as a barber full-time, right? That's their source of income. And they came to me and they said, Nick, I like your content. I'd like to join the VIP group that you offer. And so they did. They joined the service. They signed up for a year, and they started trading alongside myself and watching along with the chat room and reading through the educational section, all of that stuff. And so at a certain point, though, they sent me a message. They said, and I get a lot of private messages, as we all do. And they were saying basically, I want to go full time at this. And I actually get that message a lot more than usual. Like we get that message a lot, right? People say, I want to do this for a full time living. What can I do? How can I do it? They come to me saying, I want to do this for full time. The difference, though, with this person is that they came to me with like their solution, right? A lot of times people come to you with a problem. The Barber came along with a solution. They basically said, this is my plan. I want to make X number of dollars a week, and then I want to make more later on, and I want to keep my risk under control and keep my drawdown down. And so I was really impressed with this, and sure enough, the story just gets better because in the end, they actually were successful in their goal.
Wow.
So, a little bit of background about this guy. He was working as a barber at a salon, full-time, cutting hair, doing his thing. I think he also had worked at a bar. He was a bartender as well.
Wow, okay.
So he was kind of hustling 2 jobs at once.
Yeah, so bartending was the side hustle.
Yes. And
okay.
So he was doing both, and then, he was trying to do Forex trading as a third. So he's trying to add those multiple sources of income, as we've talked about. I think is smart to kind of diversify.
Of course.
And so he was looking for that third source of income. He wasn't profitable yet. He wasn't sure what he was doing. He's still learning, like a lot of people. And he started following along, put in the work, put in the time. He started asking questions in chat rooms, and really, this guy was going above and beyond. You could tell he was very serious about his trading and his getting into this.
Wow.
So many people come to trading and they're looking for, as we know, the quick and easy answer, right?
Exactly.
It's more rare to find somebody who comes to the table and is ready to work, right? So this person signed up not with the idea of, just give me easy answers. They joined the service with, okay, I'm ready to join the team, actually, and be a team player.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kinds of people that I've seen actually make it in Forex.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to the people who are like, okay, I paid for the service, where's my easy money?
Exactly.
You know? So anyways, with the Barber, some time goes on. I haven't heard from him for a little while, and he comes back to me. He's like, Nick, here's my trading plan. sends me a fully written out trading plan, beautifully written out. This person was semi-artistic even. They got their markers out. They were changing the colors. They were color scheming it, going the full length, and said, I like this concept. They were trading pullbacks is what they were, that was like generally their strategy, was a pullback based system where they were looking to trade with the trend, catch pullbacks, manage the risk, all of the whole 9 yards with a good approach.
I love that.
Yeah, and so I get that message, and it made my day because, Julie and I, we see a lot of people who, again, they just want quick and easy answers. They just want, it's very rare and very satisfying when somebody comes with a solution, right? They're like, okay, Nick, what do you think about this? Right? A mentor or somebody who can act as a mentor can't do it for you. They can add valuable input along your journey.
That's right.
I think, and I've had mentors all along the way, right? So that to me is the most valuable thing is don't do it for me. Help me with input.
Guide me in that right direction.
Right. I'm sure you've had mentors like that in your life.
Yeah, for like editing when I first got started, I had one in term that was just like, okay, tell me what you think about this and just guide me to like somewhere that I can like build off of, but I know this is a great video for X, Y, and Z, so then I can start to get in the routine of doing it. It's the same thing for like trading, like guide me on how to trade correctly. So one time when I'm charting by myself, I can be like, oh my gosh, I spot it. Yes. It's the same thing. And then goes on and on and on, where you just know it now from just charting.
Yeah. And so I think with the Barber, the really special thing about his story is it made a good impact on me because, again, I've had mentors and I've had people that have helped guide me. But it was always, at the end of the day, me doing the work and them giving good input, like you said, right?
Exactly.
You have people in your life that can support you along the way, give you those valuable pointers, maybe help you in the right direction, but not do it for you.
Yeah.
And so with the Barber, it was a really satisfying experience for me doing, offering the services that we offer, building a community. It was really cool to see somebody going that extra length. And so they basically came to me with a full plan. They said, Nick, do you have any pointers? I took the time, I stopped what I was doing because I was so impressed. I was like, this is awesome. And I took their trading plan, I downloaded it onto my computer, and I went through it, and I did some markups, and I sent it back to them, right?
Wow.
I just added a little bit of my own 2 cents, my own opinions. I didn't change a ton of stuff, right? Because it's their plan. And I said, these are still just my opinions. At the end of the day, this is still your plan. I loved what you're doing here. I would just say maybe think about adding this or doing less of this, right? Just very minuscule adjustments that I personally found in my own trading journey to be more helpful, right? And so I gave it back to him. He said, thank you very much for this. Came back again with his final draft, I guess, or his finished product. I said, this is great. This is 99% of people will not do what you're doing right here. Take the time out of their day to basically do a homework assignment, to go write a paper. That's really what a trading plan should be. It's like a big assignment. It's like a big, if you're starting a business, you have a business plan.
You have a business plan.
It doesn't take you 30 seconds. It takes
time.
Right. It doesn't take a 5-minute video on YouTube to give you a business plan.
Right.
Right. It takes hours of diligent, hard work to come up with the plan and to go test it too. Right,
That's
so
true
he
too.
had tested it. He
tested it on a demo?
Yes.
Wow.
So he was testing these concepts in demo, refining his trading plan, back testing even further. So just going back in historical data and saying, if I took this entry here according to my rules, how would this have played out? Going through every single trade. And I know you and I have talked about our concept of mentorship and how you want to get more into trading. I would say for anybody who is getting into trading and wants to go serious with it, the Barber is not just a story, it's an example of somebody.
Absolutely.
It's an example of somebody who is serious about their trading, who's like, this is the caliber you need to come to trading with if you want to trade successfully.
Precisely.
It's not easy signals, it's not a simple course that gives you everything in a box, right? It doesn't exist. The reality is that everybody's journey and path and approach is unique to them. And so with the Barber, he goes through the process of creating his plan, he's testing it, he puts things together, and a little bit more time goes by. Notice that this is not us talking 24/7. It's not him every time he has a problem saying, Nick, what do I do now? Nick, what do I do now? Right? It's time for them to sit in the trenches and get beat up a little bit.
Right.
Right? He came back to me 2 weeks later, something like that, and said, Nick, here's where I'm struggling. Here's where things are going well. Just as a way to keep himself honest, right? Not necessarily like, Nick, tell me everything to do now.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's, Nick, here's where I'm struggling. Almost like verbally reflecting for himself.
Exactly.
So he's sitting there, he's coming up with his trading plan, he's testing things. Now he's live, right? So he's live on the account that he's got set up, looking to execute this strategy that he's done. And some time passes, he comes back to me again, and he says, okay, I'm still struggling here, I'm trying to fix this. I know he struggled with emotions, as many traders, do. If you guys are watching this right now on YouTube, comment down below, do you struggle more with psychology of trading or the technicals of trading? Mostly, right, most people struggle with the whole idea of the psychology side. It's not really the technicals.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I showed you this morning. I've got a Euro USD short on.
Exactly.
Straightforward. There's nothing super powerful, super secret about my trade here.
Yes.
I sold on a break of a big support level that I thought, I think we have a further downside on the euro dollar.
Yeah.
Could I be wrong? Sure. I could be wrong, and I could lose money on this trade. So far, we're up, 5-10 pips so far, just a short-term trade here.
But that's amazing how you just saw it on the live and you instantly took it. That's what I would say for new traders too. That's the level you should strive to be getting at, where you could recognize it. Yes. You can even, just say like, this looks exactly like what Nick did on that live stream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's incredible. And I think that Barber, he's a testament. So, like for the Barber, how long would you say it took him to go from demo account to live trading? Just so we can tell the traders out there what they should expect, or like they should already know coming into it. Sure. It's not going to be like overnight.
Yeah, I think that's the value of having you here on the podcast is, from the perspective of I've been doing this for a long time. I've been staring at charts for years, and so to have somebody who's not as experienced in it, it's good to hear that. So the time frame is important. It's totally a valid point. It's like, how long did that series of going from planning to demo to live take? And I think it took him about 2 months before he was on a live account.
2 months.
And that's not only 2 months, that's 2 months of, not like he started 2 months before that. He started a year before that, or however long, I can't remember. He had been looking at trading for a while, but he started demo trading and testing things and coming up with his trading plan for about 2 months before he went live, right? A lot of times new traders, they're like, let me start today, right? They're like, put real money on the line immediately. I know I did. Yeah. I made that mistake.
I did that too.
It's funny how that works though, because like thinking back, I was like, man, that was so stupid of me to think, what am I doing putting my hard-earned money on the line when I haven't like tested or like come up with a strategy or like seen it work for a while first?
Exactly.
And then a lot of people also make the mistake of they go crazy on a demo account because there's no risk involved. Then they see a bunch of gains and they're like, I know what I'm doing, and then they put real money on and they lose it.
Exactly.
So but the cool thing about the Barber is he was treating his demo account like a real account. He was journaling his trades. He was testing his concepts, right? He was treating it like a real account. Even though it wasn't real money on the line, it was still being treated like a professional approach.
Wow.
And it really is the difference between people who make money trading and people who do not, is the level of professionalism you approach the business with.
For sure.
That's really a good way to sum it up, I feel like.
Yeah, by you just saying he treated that demo account like real money, that told you how serious he was about it. Yeah. Because oftentimes, even, again, like most new traders don't even do that. So to me, it's like, even if they did do that, they would not treat that like their real money. They would just be like, oh, I took a L. oh
right.
well, you know, and it's
just restart the demo account.
Right, and restart the demo account, exactly. And they would not stay in it. So I think that's so important for traders that want to get in the game. Like, you have to have a trading plan, and you have to test out your trading plan to figure out what to refine, and just pretty much just continue trial and error until you reach a point where you feel confident that now I'm ready. And for me, it took me to blow my account one time with Ali, of course. It took one time on like a go trade, right? Where I just felt like, oh, you know, it's not as hard, you know. I think something worked in my favor, and I didn't know that it was just pure luck, but I recognized like the go trade was going to do the same thing, and it totally blew my account because I had no trading plan. I had no nothing. I just hopped right into it and was just like, you know, it's the arrogance that you talked about in the last podcast when you first got into it. So yeah, I think that's incredible. So with the Barber, let me think here. So it took him about 2 months, right?
Yep.
So should traders out there that are watching this, should they expect to hop into trading in 2 months with their real money? What should their expectations be, you should say, as an experienced trader of like 5 years?
I think that's a good question. I think that you should hold off. This is hindsight speaking. You should hold off from putting live money as long as you can, because again, it might be different for every person.
Right.
You know, every person is different. For me, it took me about 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. I was trading live before this, but it took me about 2 years to actually become consistently profitable. Like, I was actually making money. Now, granted, I wasn't making these millions and this Lambos and all that. I wasn't making all that, right? I started actually seeing positive results on a month-to-month, quarter-to-quarter basis at about 2 years in. But you have to understand that you don't just get to punch in the clock and then sit there and be like, okay, I'm not profitable yet. I was sitting there in my college dorm, like, that was my job. In my mindset, nothing else mattered. I didn't care about school compared to this. I didn't care about, nothing else mattered. When I say I was like dedicated to this, 2 years of like head buried in my laptop, studying this stuff all day long.
Wow.
I mean, I was just in love with it. And I'm not saying that like, pat myself on the back, I worked so hard. I was in love with this stuff. It was my passion. And I think that for a lot of people is really the make it or break it. Is like, do you really love this stuff? Can you look at a chart and just enjoy studying the way markets are moving and how market participants are acting at a certain level and identifying potential fundamental reasons for a price movement, right? A lot of people would not say that that's their passion. For me, I'm weird enough to be like, I obsess. I love seeing what the euro is up to. And at this point, I will say, I don't obsess about it as much, right? Mm-hmm. Trading for me has gotten more boring over time, which is, in my opinion, actually a good thing.
That's interesting.
Well, because think about it this: when you go to Las Vegas and you show up at the casino and it's super exciting, that's probably right around when you're going to lose your money, right?
Yeah.
Because it's exciting, it's gambling, it's fun.
Yeah.
Right? When you show up to work every day, you get your stuff done, and you go home and you did it effectively, but you've done it 100 times, mm-hmm. right? It's not necessarily super exciting every day, but you're effective.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
trading, I do the same concepts over and over and over.
Right.
A lot of my strategies haven't changed for a few years now.
Okay.
And so it's like, it's boring to, now, I don't say it's boring like, oh, I hate doing this, I dread it. It's just that it's not like super exciting. I've got my risk managed. What's fun for a lot of new traders is not having their risk managed, not knowing what's going to happen, not having, the plan, the diligence, not having to journal, right? Journaling isn't fun.
Exactly.
For a lot, myself included, like still recording my trades into a journal and like writing my thoughts. I don't do that like every single trade like I used to, because at this point, again, I do the same thing over and over again.
Right.
But in the process of becoming consistent, that got so boring.
Yeah.
But so does not wanting to work out at the gym, not wanting to eat healthy. For me, I've got a Diet Coke addiction that we've been experiencing.
We're trying to put them on an intervention.
Trying to get off Diet Coke, right? So it's not fun. becoming disciplined,
yeah.
becoming consistent. It's hard work. And hard work, even if it's the most fun thing you ever did, even video editing for you, right?
Yeah.
Is there times where you're like, man, I may or may not want to be doing this video right now. I'd like to chill.
Yeah, that's totally true. But video is the only thing I think as to where, like, we can do a video and why I won't get tired is because we can always take a different approach to something.
That's true.
So it opens up another way of doing it. With trading, though, I could see what you mean. And, of course, in various things in life. Like, you know, if something's working for you, pretty much, if it's broke, don't fix it.
Sure.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Excuse me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Because if it's working, then you should stay with that. So I get what you mean now.
Yeah, and so,
yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, every trade, to some degree, is unique, but it has a similar story structure.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
For me, if I'm trading, like this Euro USD trade that I'm currently in, as price fell underneath that support level, the overall trend on Euro USD, trading underneath the 200-day simple moving average, a lot of momentum to the downside, positive swaps, which is positive interest. If you hold it short, you get paid swaps, or you deduct swaps from your account. Your broker will do that. So if you've ever seen little expenses on your account, that's your broker doing that. So it's the interest rate. So, but anyways, on Euro USD, the positive swap is in my favor, so I'm getting paid to hold this position. It broke a key support level that I was watching, and sure enough, we've seen a slip, right? And it continued in the direction. Now, not every trade is a winner, but that story, I've seen it 100 times.
That's
it's
true.
Very similar.
Yeah, that's very true. I see what you mean.
It's still exciting. I still enjoy trading, don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's just that it's not nearly as, oh my God, this is so exciting as when you first start.
Yeah, when you first discover it and you're first trying to figure it out.
Sure.
Because it's kind of like at that moment where you kind of like make it, quote unquote, per se. Sure. Like I told you, it will never be the same.
Yeah.
Because getting to that point is what was so fascinating and exciting. Like, oh, I can't wait to reach that. And then once you reach it, you're just like, okay, I reached it. Now what?
Yeah.
You know,
and that is so recurring in life in general.
Yeah.
The same could be said about money. So there was a time where I was shooting to make X number of dollars per month. And then I got to that point, and then it was no longer exciting, right? So money is another example.
Yeah.
But there's so many things like that. Relationships with people, they get, at first it's super exciting because you're developing that relationship with your loved one.
The honeymoon stage.
The honeymoon stage, right? And the honeymoon stage is so present in so many things.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I love that.
And it's not bad. It's okay. Like, I've been dating my girlfriend for 5 years, right? And clearly, like, we still enjoy each other's company. We still have a lot of fun. But it's not the same as, it's not the same, naive kind of new feeling of a new relationship.
Yeah.
Same with trading. Same with anything that you do recurring in life, I feel like.
That's so true. Okay, just to direct us back, because we talked about the honeymoon stage, but now let's direct back to the barber.
Yeah.
So, do you think, okay, so firstly, let me ask, do you still talk to him to this day, or is it more so he's kind of branched off into his own?
So he is still a member of our community.
Awesome.
But I think he's kind of, a lot of times what happens, and this is a natural approach, is a lot of times traders who join the community, they join, then they interact, they hang out for a while, they trade alongside us. But once they start finding that consistency that they were looking for, they naturally recede a little bit from all the conversation, right? They still touch base, they still come in and chat. We have some long-term members who continue to check in and talk, but there's not that same need to constantly being, if you know what you're going to do every day, right? If you know, like, if gold does this, I'm going to be looking to short. If gold does that, I'm looking to long. If the euro moves up at this point, I'm going to look to short, right? You don't need to validate it with anybody else. A lot of people who are in the community, they're looking to ask their questions. They're looking to ask the more experienced people, what do you think about this? Just like a mentor, right?
Right.
Once you no longer need your mentor, you don't need to constantly be asking them stuff.
That's true.
You can still have conversation. I still every once in a while chat with this person, but they're not every day sitting in the chat rooms all day long. Right?
Exactly.
So they're still a member.
I love it.
And so, I'm not sure if this person will see it. Maybe I'll send it to them. It'd be kind of a cool experiment. But yeah, so they're still active, which tells me they're still probably trading, right? They're still probably doing their thing. And
for sure.
To kind of sum up the story, they eventually came to me and said, Nick, it's been 6 months. I've been profitable every month except for 1 month. And even I think in the red month was not that bad. So, and that happens. Sometimes you have months that are negative. That is completely fine. I have negative months every once in a while too. So, long story short, they ended up taking their money, saving their money, and we've talked about this on the vlog, saving up their money, continuing to deposit on a regular basis, not withdrawing anything, kept their job, kept working, kept hustling 3 jobs at a time, right? Forex, bartending, Barber, right?
Wow, yeah.
3 at a time, and depositing, and slowly they started removing the job, as we talked about on the vlog.
Yeah, slowly.
They went half or part-time, and then they went even more part-time, I guess, and eventually I think they quit their other 2 jobs and trade Forex exclusively. Now, the one thing to add to this is I don't want to give people like a false idea. This person had some sort of inheritance or some sort of personal money already. It wasn't like a tremendous amount of money, but it was enough to say like, okay, if you get consistent with your trading and you continue to deposit for a year, this could be a decent, you could try this.
You could do it. You could do it full time for sure.
And so that's where they got to. They got to that point, and it took them about a year and a half to get to that point.
That's incredible.
So I actually heard from them a few months back. That was when they told me, I'm doing it full time. So, and to me, it was like, that's the coolest testimony to our community that's out there.
Yeah.
Somebody who really went all out on this and did it for themselves. The community didn't do it for them. Right? The services that we provide don't do the work for you 100%.
Yeah.
They might help you. They
might
give
just
you
to help
some pointers.
Right.
But the service, at A1 Trading is not to do it all for you. It's a kind of a semi-community / mentorship kind of program for online communities for people to come together and join. And I think that's the value is you get what you give when it comes to our community.
Exactly. And I think the most valuable thing, there were many valuable things that you said there about the barber, but one of the main ones to me is that he didn't withdraw and he continued to let it compound until it reached a certain amount, and then he was like, okay, now I'm ready to take away maybe a job, maybe not both, but maybe a job. And then he could just repeat that and still be fine. And even after that year, even if he did withdraw something, he's still, of course, going to keep something in the account to continue to compound, And then he could have set new variables. So I think it's so important for new traders to know, like, let your money work for itself, build it up, and then maybe, once it's reached whatever you have in your mind or whatever would make you feel comfortable, then take the withdrawal, but keep that money in the account and just let the cycle repeat itself.
Yes.
Because then you won't be hurting as much.
And to me, it's cool to hear you say that, because the fact that you gathered that and that you're still in the process of becoming a better trader and investor too.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that you gathered that is cool to me, because it's like, okay, hopefully other people on the other side of this video hear that and they're like, okay, no more withdrawing mindset. Let's get on the deposit train.
Yeah,
Let's
deposit
talk
train.
about like actually depositing into an account on a regular basis, compounding, and like, you know what? Can I put up with my job for another year or two? Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can be tough. You might, I don't care how much you hate your job or you're unhappy with your situation. If you have to, do it.
Yeah.
You ask yourself, what's my plan? Stick to the plan once you create it for yourself. And yes, depositing is such a powerful tool. And I don't know exactly where he's at with this at this current time, but I would imagine, like you're saying, he's still finding ways to keep money in the account, still finding ways to compound, and probably living within his means.
Yeah.
Right? If you're making,
That concludes today's episode on the A1 Trading Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like the video and maybe share today's episode with a friend. Catch you all next time.